Hello, Papiti. Good evening. Thank you. I just got it. I just got the glasses. Thank you so much for noticing. Hope you're having a good weekend. Hi, Weyinmi. It's great to have you on board. Good evening, and it's nice to have you guys. I hope you're having a good weekend. We're in for a really exciting session this evening. You're welcome once again to Out of the Box series. And my name is Titi Oshodi, and I will be, as usual, your host, taking you through the questions with our guests. Our guest today is somebody that is seriously involved in empowering and building up the target audience that she has found for herself, that she has connected with. So many things that we're going to be sharing today, especially for young budding entrepreneurs, people who are seeking for what to do at this point in time, especially because a lot of the industries have been hit by the pandemic. And so we're creating this opportunity so that people can share in, people can listen in, and also be able to get one or two pointers as to what they should be doing at this precarious time. So I'm going to invite in our guest right now. And whilst we do all of the intros. Hello, good evening.
Hi.
Hello. Hi. How
Good
are
evening.
you? Good evening. Is it okay? Is the
Can you
service
hear
okay
me?
on your end there? Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me? It's breaking a bit. Ooh. We're having a little bit of a glitch there. Can you hear me? Okay. Log off and log back in. Okay. 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 Okay, so she's going to log back in again. Whilst we're waiting for her to get back in, I'm going to do a brief intro, background introduction of who we're going to be talking to so that you understand her precedents, her antecedents, and also understand the market that she's coming from. Her name is Weyinmi Eribo, and she's a trained geologist with quality health and safety expertise, spanning several years of experience in oil and gas and NGO and impact investing and entrepreneurial ecosystems. But we're going to be talking more on the entrepreneurial ecosystems that she has built for herself. She has a soft spot and a passion for a particular sector, which I would like for her to talk about and expatiate on. We're waiting for her to join in right now. She's the CEO of Roots and Brew Limited, a health and wellness brand that is based in Abuja. So she's somebody that is quite particular about the wellness of mind, wellness of the physiological structure as well. She's the founder of a resource and community-based platform that supports single female breadwinners, providing access to finance, business acceleration, mentorship, and community. Hello, Jack Baba. Thank you for joining in. I hear you. I see you. We're waiting for our guests to come on board. Okay, let's see if we can get her back again. The service is a little glitchy this evening. I think because she's also connecting from Abuja, but fingers crossed we'll be able to get a good interview session tonight. So whilst we're still waiting for her, like I said again, she has a platform that is called the Wevo Nigeria. And it's a resource and community-based platform that helps single female breadwinners. Not only is it targeted towards single female breadwinners, but also young entrepreneurs, young startups as well, who would like to maneuver or at least find a way around situations where it may be a bit sticky, especially during this pandemic period that we're in right now. She's a quality management system lead auditor with a certificate in entrepreneurial studies from Enterprise Development Center. That's the Lagos Business School platform. She has a certificate in nonprofit management from Lagos Business School and is an SME Dan certified National Business Development Service provider. Right, so let me get her in. She's just connecting. So we're going to have a lot of questions, how to be able to wangle our way as entrepreneurs, as young budding startups, even for people who want to be able to diversify. You're going to get some ideas how to maximize the space, and also because of the limited movement that has been enforced on us, how are we going to be able to maneuver? How can we make the best of the digital space for profit making, for job and wealth creation, and what not, you know? Okay. So in the meantime, whilst we're still waiting for her, I think that we have a little bit of a glitch from her end. I'm sure she's still trying to connect. So in the meantime, whilst we're still waiting for that, if there are any questions that anybody wants to ask, I can also take you back down memory lane as to what areas of sector or what areas of business and enterprise that we have touched on this program, on this platform. So we have touched on music, we have spoken to some key notable players in that industry to help share a little bit more about how to create a presence and be relevant in that industry. We had LD The Don, we had Banky W, and there was one other person we had. I'll remember in a bit. But we had 3 people for the music section, for the music session. We also had for the movies, we had Ali Baba, because he's delved into various areas of that industry, in the entertainment industry. So he was able to give us a lot of insight with regards to what is required in the industry, what the government is looking into doing right now, that a committee has been established for the entertainment industry to help them understand what is needed, what is required to be able to take the entertainment industry to another level. We had our comedy people, ONG, Oke Bakassi, Helen Paul, Dr. Helen Paul. we also went into education. We talked a little bit about what is needed to expand the possibilities of learning for all of our children, the young ones, and also expand into empowering the teachers as well. So some of the things that we basically just want to tackle or want to be able to express are the things that are prevailing on us at this time, and how we can empower ourselves and create a connect with people who are providing services in their little area, and be able to connect with those who are seeking. So we're basically connecting those who are supplying services with those who demand the services. So for instance, when we had the education, the passion for education and the passion for learning, we had a chat with Teach for Nigeria. That is an NGO that helps through their fellowships, help to empower and to, okay, she's here now. Let me see. Okay. Okay, it looks like, yay, I think we have success.
I'm so sorry. I don't know what's going on. The network is just going on for me tonight.
I know. These things happen. What can we say? We just have to keep going and keep pushing. Welcome on board.
Thank you.
It's nice to have you. I hope you're having a good a weekend. You're enjoying your weekend.
Yes. So far, so good. I've had a couple of meetings back to back, but it's okay. We're happy.
Okay. So I have done a little bit of background intro whilst you were still trying to get back in. And I basically told our listeners that one of the things that I really want to be able to share with you or talk to you about is on your resource and community-based platform. That's Wevo, because I think it is designed for a period like this. And so we want to know more. But before I go on forward, I see, and I must commend you, that you have an absolutely robust profile here that has touched into quite a bit of area. And so it is needless to say that you are actually capable of helping us understand the times and the type that we're in at this point in time. So let us go right into it. And my first question that I'm going to ask would be, because we're both in this situation, we're all in this situation in this time, what are the new trends that we are faced with as entrepreneurs? What would you say?
I think the first thing will be, is the most obvious thing, the influx of digital products and services. And so for a lot of people who, pre-COVID would say, oh, I don't like to use the computer, I don't like to use internet banking, I don't like to do this, I don't like to do that. You find that everybody's going that way now because that's the only way to survive. You know, the use of digital products, the use of digital tools and resources, not just for entrepreneurs or business people, but even for people in the workspace. We see how Zoom has practically taken over. And because of Zoom, you know, Facebook has redesigned some of the things that they're doing. Yeah. The Google space has come up as well. So everybody's going digital. I think for me right now, it's you either go digital or you die. You know, you need to find a way to remain relevant.
Yes.
Yeah, you remain relevant in that space. So of course, with that is also, you know, people are beginning to provide solutions that are contactless as much as possible. Because you also realize that, so now you can run businesses without necessarily having face-to-face interactions with your customer. Yeah. So I'll give an example of, you know, my business. So when COVID initially started, we had to shut down for like 5 weeks. But I realized, so you said, yes, we actually have five weeks of no sales whatsoever. But we had to figure out a way to be able to remain in business, but not necessarily expose ourselves and clients, vendors, and everything. So of course, what we started doing was strictly deliveries. You know, so you're sending products out, they place their order either on the website or Instagram or Twitter, however, you know, but then we're sending it to them. So the only interaction is between the delivery guy and them. And of course, the
Yeah.
delivery guy has his own precautions that he has to take. Don't touch the bag. When you hand over the bag, spray it down. You know, all those kind of things. So you need to just continue to find ways to do your business as contactless as possible. Because I mean, you're not only trying to reduce exposure for yourself, but for your staff, for your clients as well. You know, it's a whole cycle that's you basically have to take into consideration. So I mean, there's more digital tools, more digital resources, digital channels of communication as well. A lot of people who would normally wait for customers to come into their store now are calling customers, are sending emails, you know, across the customers, you know. So I think everything now has obviously gone to the digital space. So it's important that we need to rethink and re-strategize in order to remain relevant, you know, within that space. Yeah.
So what you're saying is that we need to be able to creatively design our strategies of connecting and at the same time maximizing as well. So for those who sell, because I know that even sometimes from my own private runs here, you know, movement, we will order food, but even when we order that food, there's a process of collection, there's a process of unwrapping the bag, unwrapping the food. There's a process of cleaning everything out again so that, you know, even though it is, you have to make it as contactless and as
possible.
Reduce the process or any means of infection whatsoever as much as possible.
Reduce
So most catering services or most restaurants now are doing, what they're doing now is delivery more than eating in, you know. So for those who are already
even a co hotel is doing delivery. So why would SMEs not do delivery?
Wow. So
they
started doing deliveries too.
Yes. Yes. Delivery and laundry services. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. So how do you think that we can work with advertising our products and services? You know, somebody said, and it was Debola that said some time ago on an interview, said we have to be a moving TV, or we have to move our platforms along with us wherever we're going, so that we're digitally present everywhere. How do you suppose that we can do this?
I mean, the social media space has made it very easy. So I think for me, it's more now about gaining information on how to use the different channels that are available to you. It also depends on the target market that you're after. So you need to actually sit down and do your survey. Where your customers are, where are they more? Are your customers more on Facebook? Are they more on Instagram? Are they more on Twitter? Some businesses thrive on Twitter. They don't thrive on Instagram. Some businesses thrive on Facebook. They don't thrive on Twitter. So I think it's very, I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's very possible to figure out where your target market is and begin to design communication materials that you need to send across, and also begin to design the way you intend to send that message out. Do you want to use videos? Do you want to use animation? Do you want to use audio? Do you want to use pictures? Do you want to use carousels? I think it's important that you know, people begin to determine how best to send the message out, because even if you're sending the message out but you're using the wrong medium, it's not going to be reaching the right people. So you're almost wasting your time and wasting your resources. I mean, right now, disposable income is not plenty. So you need to be smart with all these things and really just do your due diligence well before you decide. It's also important that people begin to determine how relevant or essential their businesses are, or begin to communicate in such a way that their businesses become relevant or essential to people, because people's priorities have changed. I mean, if you look through Maslow's hierarchy, well, people will go for needs and basic needs and resources first before they go for anything. Before they go for anything that is luxury. So even if you're doing something that was luxury pre-COVID, is there a way that you can twist your messaging and twist your communication in such a way that it now seems like an essential to people, because that's the only thing they're going to go for, right? So I think it's very possible. The channels are there, but it's just determining the right channel for your business, where your clients are, and then you focus on that and build your knowledge on how to use those channels to keep your business relevant in the industry.
So if we have to really break it down, you know, to those, for those who just want the real practical and be able to understand what you just said. Now, what would you say that somebody who sells clothing, because I know that clothing in the hierarchy of needs is quite on the minimal, and somebody who sells food, and then somebody who sells pharmaceutical, who's a pharmacist, how would you suggest that they design their adverts, or how do they make themselves visible for their customers?
Okay, so I'll give a quick. I mean, the food one is almost easy, right?
Easy.
So I'll let me dwell more on somebody who's selling clothes. So I mean, right now you assume the first 1-2 months of COVID, people who are selling clothes probably not selling anything at all. But now there's a way you can push your message out and say, look, you're having online meetings. You don't want to look this way in online meetings. You need to still look like you're in the office settings. You still need to look like you're changing your dresses every day. You need to look the part. You need to this, you need to that. There's a way you push the message out and it becomes an essential. Because I mean, I don't want to be doing lives. I don't want to be going on my Zoom official calls every day and I'm wearing the same thing, because we get lax. And you need to do videos in such a way where they're taking, maybe you have somebody who just sits down on her dining table, and in front of it the person is looking all formal and everything, but then the person gets up and it's probably just wearing like a shorts on that, but your shirt or your dress is still looking tops. Do you understand? So there's a way you push the message out to make it seem like an essential. You're at home, but it doesn't mean you should not look nice. You're at home, it doesn't mean you should not look, there are ways to send this message out. So it's all in the communication. It's in the words that they use, it's in the pictures that they use, it's in the videos. Yes,
I get you. And then obviously for the person who sells the pharmaceutical items, that's already a given as well, because that's way of the needs.
So I'll give another example. When we needed to reopen my store, of course, because we do health and wellness, it was easy. Oh, boost up your immune system. This is the right time to eat this. This is the right time to eat that. Do you understand? So we didn't struggle much. Exactly. So it's in creating the awareness of essential, because the only thing that everybody's was hearing at the beginning of COVID, now we're beginning to relax a bit, but at the beginning it was essential services, essential services, essential services. So if you are not able to create your brand message is not clear enough to position you as essential, then no matter how long COVID continues, you actually continue to suffer unless you're able to make that twist.
Yes. Yeah. So if I hear you correctly, for people who want to divert, create a diversion or divest into something else, they should look into things that they can push on the digital space. From what you have said, and I'm just trying to learn 1 or 2 things as well. So because you're always on the screen, you always have to do the work on how you look on the screen, because you're doing a lot of meetings. So for people who do makeup, for instance, they should be talking about the things that help to push the features of the face on the computer or on the phone,
Exactly. And start teaching people how to, share videos on how to do your eyebrows at home and tell you how they have the best eyebrow pencil for you to buy from them, right? There are ways to go about this thing. It's just actually sitting down and being innovative. This is the time when every business needs to be innovative. You need to sit down and tell me why behind the screen red lipstick looks better than pink, or why purple lipstick looks better than brown, and just create some awareness, even if it's not necessarily what it is, but people are moved by what they see, right? So if you're able to convince them to use the things that you have in your store presently, then they will buy it from you, because everybody wants to look good. Everybody wants to look good. Behind the screen, off the screen, you want to look good. So, I think for me, what I've learned a lot in this period is your brand message, is how you're pushing the message out.
Thank you so much, Weyinmi. I really, really appreciate that. It's even given me an insight as to how to reshape even how we send our messages now for people to understand, because you've got to be in their minds to know what their state of mind. We need to understand people's state of mind and how we can connect with that state of mind at this point, right? Thank you.
Because if you're sending the wrong messages out as well, you don't want people to think you're being irresponsible or you're just trying to sell markets. You need to make them feel like you're hearing them. You're in the same place with them, so you understand what they need at the time. So
So what do you, because I have a real present situation right now where it is that we have established a high-end setup in a place where it's pretty much like a middle class, more mass market sort of thing, you know. So after COVID, having to, you know, try to struggle to stay afloat. After COVID, we found that even disposable income has been hit, you know, such that it's difficult for people. What would you suggest that business, because they're actually in the process of changing and redesigning their products to fit into a mass market thing, but it's a high-end shop. What would you suggest?
So my first response to that would be, even Ford and LG, they're creating ventilators, right? So everybody needs to find a way to meet. Yes, you need to find a way to meet the mass market. So the first thing you need to do, or that business needs to do, is sit down and think through their business, the way the business runs. So you have to think through your value proposition as well. You need to think through your costs. You need to think through what they would want at this time. I don't think you necessarily have to shut down the high end, but you may have to pivot in such a way that you are not losing out on any market sphere. I think it's important that you create a sense of security for even the high end people who want to come out to you, right? But also create products and services that can reach the lower market. Because at the end of the day, if you don't do that, you will go redundant. And I mean, a lot of resources would have gone down the drain. So I think it's just in actually sitting down and looking through your structure, looking through your operations. So for me, I'll call it a proper business audit, right? And now deciding and saying, okay, look, these are the people that we want to serve. If we're serving these people, what do they want? I think that there has to be a lot of survey post-COVID to find out what people are still going to be interested in and how they're going to be interested in it. Because it's not just a matter of having a product or service, but how do they want to accept it, right? So there has to be a proper audit of the business, proper audit of what can we even still afford to offer? Because if you remain in where you were before, you find out that even the resources are different. There's a lot of, I mean, the resources in terms of what is even available to you as a business person has really reduced. I'll share an example. One of the products that we make, we use a jar that I was buying these jars from Lagos. By the time we do the math and everything, it was coming to about 55 naira. But this period, I couldn't find the jars to buy. We ran out and I couldn't find those particular ones to buy. And so we now started using the ones that were slightly bigger, but buying it at 90 naira or 92 naira.
Oh, wow.
Right? And then I was able to get somebody else's number in Lagos. Oh, I'm looking for this. The guy asked me, how many do you want? I said, I want to buy like 2,000 or 3,000. He said, madam, you go wait, because they are focusing on people that are buying trailer load. So even your purchase, so even your purchasing power will determine how much of resources you can get for your business, right? So we really, really, really need to sit down and just really go through that structure and determine if we're even still capable of providing the services and products that we were providing pre-COVID. Is it something that we can still do? How can we do it? So there has to be a proper business audit of products, services, and customers.
That's really, really interesting. And, you know, how is it that you can, because obviously the demand has reduced, so supply is also affected as well.
Yeah. I mean, even the people who have to import things, you know, you can't even get in things as much. You can't get in things timely anymore. So even your ability to serve your customers is greatly affected. You know, I mean, sometimes you have people who are even willing to buy, but you don't have enough resources to provide your goods or services to you know, to get it available to them. So everything is affected, and you just need to find you need to find the right ways to just remain relevant, you know, and remain in business.
Okay, so for Lagos State, you have heard about the Jobs Initiative Lagos.
Yes, I have.
Yeah. And I heard about it, and I was a little excited, you know, partly because you know that news like that, you first want to just take it on the face value and just see how well it's going to work, because it just sounds like something like a good idea. So it's a program that has been designed for the youth, and as a business developer and somebody who also has a platform that is targeted towards a certain demographic. Tell us, what do you think about that program from Lagos State? What's your
I think it's a fantastic initiative. I'm hopeful that it will run the way it's supposed to run, because I mean, the reason that a lot of us are struggling is because we got into the digital age very
late,
very slowly. Yes, very very late. I mean, even the transitioning from analog to the digital space has taken a lot of people so long. So if you're able to catch them young and get them ready, I think that if Lagos State is able to actually do that, then you have a lot of people who are coming out of school with more mindset of trying to create things, as opposed to looking for government jobs or looking for people who are going to help them. Yes, you know, so I think it's fantastic. I pray that it runs the way it's supposed to run. I mean, you'll find that you actually, that's a way of putting food on a lot of people's tables, even before they get out of school, because you even find that even from their final year, they're beginning to design programs, they're beginning to design apps, they're beginning to design, products and services and tools and resources, you know, that even not just them can use, but other people that they can sell these things to. So I think it's a fantastic initiative, and I pray that, I pray that it runs the way it should run.
What do you think on the short-term basis? How do you think that the reverberation or the returns can be on the economy? I'd like for you to give us a little bit of what you think on the short-term and then on the long-term basis as well, if it's continued.
So long-term will be obviously getting them ready to come out of school, prepared for the work markets. Short-term basis, I think, that firstly, I would talk about the emotional part of it, the mental part of it, because it begins to give them hope. To see that there's so much more than just coming out of school and waiting for government work, you know, and waiting for them to be retained after NYSC and all of that. Short-term basis, I think that it will be a good way for them to also be exposed to what is available out there. So they're also getting prepared, you know, they're also getting prepared for whatever it is that is coming at them as soon as they're leaving school. Because you find out that a lot of people leave school and they're very confused. They don't know what to do. They don't know what to get themselves involved in, and just waiting and gallivanting, right? But then with stuff like that, they are beginning to plot their way. They're beginning to plot their future. So I think it's a good way for anybody to start, right? I mean, you never know. They may even begin to design programs for just within their departments in school. An easier way to submit assignments, an easier way to have lectures. You'll be surprised at the kind of initiatives that will actually come out from this. You know, so I think it's I think it should be applauded and supported as much as possible.
Because what I've read is that it is designed as a complementary training for students in final and the penultimate year into entrepreneurship. And you find that a lot of us practically started one thing or another just to be able to augment the little stipends that we were getting. I'm one of those people as well who just started something on the side, you know. So, and a lot of them, you find even those who have become giants of sorts in their businesses actually started in the hall, in the school halls, in the university. And they took those ideas and they have sat on it, and they have not bothered to look into the market, into the job market. And they're sitting well. Financially.
You know, for me, I grew up with, my parents are both civil servants, so I wasn't exposed to the business, you know, side of anything. And honestly, I wish that I was, because I mean, with the kind of person that I grew up imagining myself in an office. And I'll sit in front of the mirror and I'm saying, oh, drop the file there and drop the file, because I was used to seeing my parents who are civil servants doing those things. So I honestly wish that I was exposed to the business sector early enough. I'm pretty sure that, I mean, something that I would have started would have grown so much more. So I think that for me, it's exciting, because, I mean, these guys are going to be exposed to this kind of things. And the dependency on their parents are reduced. The dependency on relatives are reduced. That's because they know that, you know, they can actually do more for themselves now. You know, so I think it's a fantastic idea.
All in all, also knowing that they can also harness the digital space through this. You know that there's also another platform that the government is leveraging for the job initiative platform, and you know, it's targeted towards the digital skills initiative as well. So that's a different one apart from the job initiative. And, you know, I'd just like to be able to open up and tell her and just mention how it is that they can get involved in it and how people can connect also. If you just Google Jobs Initiative Lagos and also the Digital Skills Initiative Lagos. It will give you
Yeah,
a
I
lot
think the
more.
digital skills one is, yeah, that's targeted more at secondary school. As opposed
Yes.
to university. So I think
University.
together it's fantastic. I mean, catch them young,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. So we want to get a little personal. So we want you to tell us a little bit about Wevo. What inspired Wevo? And give us one or two milestones of what Wevo has done thus far.
Okay, so the inspiration of Wevo came from my personal life experience. I got separated, now divorced, 7 years ago. I also ventured into business at that time, but I also saw the gaps that were available. I saw the stigmatization for women like me who were faced with, you know, having to deal with divorce early in life, you know, at a time when you haven't even discovered yourself or anything. I met women who were ashamed to share their stories. I met women who were ashamed to even say that they were divorced or separated or anything like that. And so it became a personal conviction for me to begin to change these stories, to begin to support women. So I've been doing this over time, but I decided last year to actually put a structure to it, to make it a legal thing, because I saw how much this pain and this, you know, fear, the shame was beginning to, you know, continuously putting people in tight spots. So even in the office, you can't give your best because you don't feel like you can express yourself enough. I mean, while you're trying to express yourself, somebody will tell you, just pass a snide comment. You know, so I thought that, you know what, I mean, one thing I always say is I tried to ride a bicycle. I mean, till now, I don't know how to ride a bicycle, but it doesn't make me a failure. So if I fail at one thing, it doesn't mean that the rest of my life has to be defined by that. I mean, nobody will ask me now if I ride a bicycle. So why would you keep asking me why I was married or why? Did you understand?
Absolutely.
So I decided to just put some structure around it. So this actually started October last year. I know that a lot of people have told me that they don't think that it just started, but it's not. Weibo is not even up to a year now. We're growing. My community on WhatsApp, we're about 100 and maybe 150, but on the, you know, for the main community itself, we're almost 300 now. Right. You know, we've had capacity development trainings. We've had a partnership with Mind the Gap, which is a Google Digital Skills, you know, for Africa, I think, but they're the main ones in Nigeria. So we've had so we've had entrepreneurship trainings. We've had you know, several capacity development trainings. But most importantly for me is the emotional part of it, the healing part of it, because the community on WhatsApp has become such a safe space for women to talk about different things, to talk about things that we normally wouldn't talk about, even in a regular women's environment, right? To talk about things that you will not be judged for. I think that it's clear on the group that it's a completely no judgment zone. So nobody passes any, I mean, funny enough, I don't know how God is doing it, but the women in the community have so much respect for each other, so much love, that, I mean, it's just been growing and growing. We also have where we encourage each other, you know, by supporting our businesses. So we buy from each other as much as possible. We push their businesses out more as much as possible as well. And so for me, it's just, you know, I think beyond everything is also the lives of the children that are involved. Because I mean, if one woman had more, had access to more financial, her children will have access to more education, or to better education, to better healthcare. I mean, you have a completely different life. So it's beyond the women. And I don't think, I mean, so when people ask me, they're like, oh, so does that mean you're supporting divorce? I'm like, look, I'm not supporting divorce. I'm not a marriage counselor. I'm not a life coach yet. I'm taking the training for that. But I don't think that anybody should be defined based on the mistake. I mean, even if the woman was wrong, everybody makes mistakes, right? So I don't think that anybody's life should be defined on that. It has happened, it has happened. How do we move forward, right? So that's where Wevo is coming from. That's what we're trying to do. Just to make these women feel like, because I mean, a lot of people are just stuck in places, and there's this narrative that once you're a single mom, you're suffering. Once you're a single mom, you're always in need. You don't be around a single mom, they're always needy, you know, those kind of things. So I think for me, it's just really, really changing the narrative, because the more people begin to buy into these narratives, the more they begin to believe it, the more they begin to live it. And then you just see that they're already placing those limitations on themselves, right? And so there's a lot of, it's more economic, but also a lot of mental and emotional healing, you know, as fused together.
So are you saying that these are the criteria for being part of this family, this ecosystem, is to be a female breadwinner? Are they all female breadwinners?
Yes, they are. So we're four categories. There are women who are single moms who were never married. There are women who were married and are now divorced, whether or not they have kids, but as long as you've been divorced, you can be in the community. We have the widows as well, who of course are raising children by themselves. And then we have sibling breadwinners. So I say sibling breadwinners because we have a lot of female children who are responsible for their families, who are paying school fees, who are paying rent, taking care of their fathers, taking care of their younger ones. So we also have this group of women in the community as well. Okay.
So do you have partners in corporations and NGOs and organizations?
So we're working on a few of that. We're working on a few more. But currently we have, we're on one with one who, their Sake Foundation. So Sake Foundation, they provide for widows. And so they've given some loans to women in the community. You know, widows, so they are particular about widows. So but we're looking for more partnerships, you know, to help women in this category. So we're looking for NGOs, we're looking for funders. We have more than 70% of the women in our community are entrepreneurs. So of course we're looking for people who can fund the businesses. Because of my background as a business development service provider, we're able to do the due diligence. We're able to give them relevant trainings for businesses, get them investment ready as well. And so if we're able to, you know, get into partnership with funders to help these women, I think that it will be a fantastic thing.
So about the emotional aspect and the mental aspect, do you have experts who handle those areas for them?
Oh, yes. Yes. So from time to time, we bring in experts to talk to them. Even within the community as well, there are a few experts who have, you know, helped. So of course, there are things that we do this thing every 2 Wednesdays that we call family meeting. And so sometimes we bring in guests who are experts at, you know, so we usually would ask, do you have any areas that you want to deal with? So we had one that was talking about sex and relationships after divorce, after separation, you know, those kind of things. And we brought in an expert to talk about that. From time to time, we bring in people to share their stories, you know, just to encourage these women, to give them hope, you know, to know that, look, it's happened, but we can move forward. There's life after this. So yes, once in a while, we bring in experts. Yeah.
What has the trajectory been like thus far?
Oh, it's been amazing. It's been amazing. The kind of messages that I get. I mean, that sometimes, I won't lie, it gets frustrating. I get really tired because I just feel like I'm doing so many things at the same time. I'm brain stretched. But I get some of these messages that it just fuels me. You know, the women in the community, there's, you know, a few of them who have shared how they've become more confident just by being in the community. They've become more, you know, more hopeful. They're having more faith now. They're now more resilient. They understand that they're not in this alone. So it's been a fantastic journey, honestly.
And that has also translated in their businesses, in their pursuits.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. A few of them have started more businesses. A few of them have learned how to infuse the digital landscape into their businesses as well. A few of them have shown interest in starting new businesses as well. So we're trying to help them with experts to come and train them on certain business ideas that they have. We have women who have gone through some fashion classes, some who are want to start ready to wear business and are being helped currently, you know, to do that as well. So yeah, it's not just in their personal life, but also in their businesses as well. And so from time to time, we also encourage them to do online trainings on Udemy, you know, Coursera and the rest of them. Yeah. So, and we've actually had a member of the community actually train the community on how to use Google My Business, you know, for their businesses as well. So yeah, it's not just in their personal lives, but also in their businesses.
So, if you had to give some good advice, sound advice to young people, the youth, your team members as well, as to how to grapple and work within this period right now to maximize and create job opportunities for themselves, what would you say?
I think the first thing for me would be to have an open mind, because if you're going in with the mindset that you can't do this, you're not going to be able to do it. If you go on with the mindset that, look, I struggle with technology, I don't have an idea about technology, you're never going to be able to learn it. But we have to understand that technology is the new normal, and then we need to find ways to get into it. You don't have to necessarily do the data analytics and all the major technology stuff, but just having a basic knowledge of how to use these things to remain relevant, open-minded enough to be able to create solutions. You know, I think we also need to put our ears down and listen to what the society is saying. It's not just in deciding that we want to have a product or a service, but is it needed at the time? Is it what people are going to go for? Are you solving a need? And are you solving a mass need? Because I think that's where the money is. If you're able to solve a mass need, then, you know, you can actually begin to say that you're creating wealth for yourself from there. I think that there's a lot of fear and I mean, nobody knows, nobody has been through this before. Everybody is scared. The uncertainties are a lot. But I think that if we're just able to hold on, have faith, and be open enough to learn of the new things that are coming out, put your ears down, learn of go on the digital space. There's a lot of digital news platforms that you can find out what's going on now, who is doing what, how they're doing it. Go and intern with people. You cannot just necessarily sit down at home and say you're going to learn. You can't. Sometimes you don't learn just by you know, just by going on YouTube or something. Sometimes you want that practical, you know, experience. So work within an organization even before you have an organization. It's a lot better because you begin to understand the hierarchy of things as well. So I think that with young people, I mean, just give of yourself, you know, service to humanity in any way that you can, because everybody's struggling now. You know, so I think that we can just, everybody's struggling now. Nobody has been through this before, so nobody knows how to handle it. There's a lot of information overload. I think that's also important that we're able to sieve and pick what is relevant, you know, for us at this time. So I think open-mindedness and a willingness to learn will help people move through.
Yes. So what I hear that you're saying, just for us to be able to finalize, is that youth must be open-minded about embracing technology. They should be ready to troubleshoot. I wonder, because a lot of them do Facebook. We do Facebook, we do the Instagram, you know, and we also, even WhatsApp. I had interviewed somebody some time ago on our sales session, and he was going to advertise for one of the plays, the theater that he had organized, and he had given a digital marketer the brief to help him advertise this theater, this play. Unfortunately, he was not spending a lot of money and he wasn't getting anything. Apart, what he had said, even he didn't know that he hadn't gotten anything until the day of the theater itself, when he found out that all of the messages that he sent by himself on WhatsApp, he said he had sent over 2,500 because of his own network and contact. And he was obviously somebody who nurtures his relationship to a very great extent. So he did a lot of broadcasts. He developed a broadcast list, you know, of over, you know, the WhatsApp provision will only be for about 250 or 260. So he had about 5 different sets of such a broadcast list, and he sent out all those messages over and over and time over. And then he found that when he got the people that turned over, the turnover of guests, of the people who came in, for the theater were actually his contacts, the people that he knew. So he had absolutely no, there was no presence for, you know, abstract people or people who had come at random. So he went back asking the digital marketer, who exactly did you talk to? He said, oh, we sent it on Instagram, we did a promo and this and that, and this is what the digital, these are the analytics. And he just told the man, I'm not doing this again. I'm not going to go through this route again. So sometimes, you know, if we really need to know that we've connected, or our network has to be something that we have to nurture by ourselves. We have the tool. We have that phone in our hands. We have those people that we send messages to on WhatsApp. We can make phone calls. We can do WhatsApp call. We can do the conference calls. You know, there's so many things that we can use. Even on Facebook, we have so many followers on Facebook, on Instagram. How are we going to harness those numbers for our own good, or for our own use? Like we have said, once we're able to understand the value proposition and what is needed in the market, and we're able to plug into it, then the rest is history. All you need to do is now be able to find a way to get in touch with all of the people who you already have one connect or the other with, you know. So I think it's time that,
like I said, it's in the messaging.
Yes.
Yeah, it's in the message, which is why I said you need to be open and ready to learn. Because if you just assume that you don't know how to do digital marketing, so you're not going to try. That's why he did that. That's why he wasted money, because he actually had it, you know, at the tip of his hands, but he didn't know, because he just assumed. And of course, before this period, they made it look like the digital space is such a hard space to get into. It's very hard to understand, you know, and so people are not, so you're already scared. You're not willing to learn. You're not willing to try. But then I think that it's important that, I mean, and you know, the funny thing, everything is on YouTube. How to do digital marketing on Facebook, how to do sponsored ads on Instagram. Everything is on it's on YouTube, but we're not willing to learn. We're not
even on Google. Or even once you put it on Google, Google gives you different ways. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if most so everything that is on all of my pages right now are designed by myself. I've used digital marketers several times, but then I take it back from them because I never get the desired response that I need, and so I went to learn them. Right? Wow. And so these are, I think for me now, it's basic survival skills. It's basic survival skills on how to use some of these things. Otherwise, you continue to spend money, and there's no money right now. So why are you trying to spend money that you don't? Do you understand? Why are you trying to spend money that you don't necessarily have? So just basic survival tools of knowing how to use Instagram, how to choose your target market from Facebook, from Instagram, on Twitter as well, which is why I said at the beginning, know where your customers are and use that platform. Because his customers clearly were not on Instagram, clearly were not on Facebook, but were on WhatsApp, right? So why would you go and spend money on platforms that your customers are not on? You know.
So thank you so much, Weyinmi. We've learned so much from you, how we can explore and exploit all the platforms that are available to us, how our young ones are also supposed to be open-minded and embrace technology and use those at their fingertips to be able to push whatever it is that they want to advertise. Also the spirit of apprenticeship as well, wanting to learn.
Very important.
And grasp, because it's in knowledge that you can become better, you know, wanting to learn. Thank you so much for your time out, Weyinmi. I really wish you all the best.
For having me.
I hope that we can do more, but we're going to be going off very soon. Instagram only gives us 1 hour provision. I hope that we've been able to take notes. I hope our listeners have been able to take notes, and also send in questions if you would like more information about the Weibo platform. Like she has explained, it's for the female breadwinners, the widows, and those who also want to be able to develop something, you know, an avenue for enrichment and empowerment. We've got many platforms like this, and we'll be throwing it out on our platform at Talk with Titi as time goes on. Thank you, Weyinmi. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much
my
for
love,
having me.
your daughter, the lovely daughter. Okay.
Thank you, ma.
All right, then. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. Thank you. I see Ojuade. I see Ade there. I see Shegun Odele. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Oh, Auntie Sade, thank you for joining in. All have a good weekend. We're going to be sending in some details as we go along because we want this platform to be a bridge of gaps between the demand and the supply. Just so you know what it is, where you want to wangle, where you want to be able to maneuver with things. Please be on the lookout. Follow us on our social media handles at Talks with Titi Layo on Instagram and Talks with Titi on Twitter as well. And I hope you have a good weekend. We'll be having the same session tomorrow, 7 p.m. with another business developer and a faculty member with the Lagos Business School. Have a good weekend and God bless. Stay safe and be healthy. Bye for now.